I'm Terry Johnson from Terry Johnson Creates. I'm so happy that you're here with me today. I'm excited to be part of the 12 Days of Christmas paper crafting event with my friends over at 12 by 12 Cardstock Shop. They have gathered together 12 designers for tons of holiday inspiration, and I am truly thrilled to be one of them. Today, we're going to be making this adorable cocoa mug, shaker tag, or ornament. It's sweet, it's simple, and it's perfect for gift bags, teacher treats, or even hanging right on your Christmas tree. And don't worry, I will walk you through everything step by step. I am using Silhouette Studio and my Cameo today, but whatever machine you have will work just fine. I have provided the SVG files for you in the download listed below this video, so any machine that can use SVG files will be perfect for creating this shaker tag. Linked below, just like I said, are the SVG files, as well as a supply list with all of the links to the materials that I used today. And if you stick around to the end, I have a fun little surprise for you. So grab a cup of cocoa, the beautiful cardstock from 12 by 12 Cardstock Shop, a few shaker bits, and we'll get started. So here we are in Silhouette Studio, and I have opened up the Cocoa Mug SVG file. And I want to talk to you about the different parts of this design. But first, I want to show you that I have my page set up with a machine of the Cameo 5 Alpha or A. We have a 12 by 12 Cameo cutting mat and a media size of 12 by 12. Most of the cardstock I'm using is 12 by 12 size, so that's the media size that I selected. If you're using a machine other than a Silhouette, you want to set your cutting mat up in a similar fashion. Now let's talk about the pieces of this design. The first thing is the acetate piece right here. This is going to form your shaker window. The first thing I want you to do is to delete this word acetate. I simply put it on there so that you would know what it was for, but not to cut. So let's move our mug off of the cutting mat and we're going to cut that acetate piece first. So I'm just going to set it up here in the top of our mat and we're going to go to the sun panel. And here in the sun panel, I've already selected, but you want to select the acetate sheets thin as your material. Now, when you do that, you're going to see that the settings are a force of 33, a speed of 3, 2 passes, and a blade depth of 10. So, unless you're using a deep cut blade, that is going to be the maximum blade depth you can use with either a ratchet blade or an auto blade. And note that it does do 2 passes to cut through this acetate. I'm also going to go ahead and increase the force. You can take it all the way up to 40 in version 5 of Silhouette Studio. So you need to do a test cut on your machine to see what level, if you need to make any adjustments. So in version 5, if you want to do a test cut, you're simply going to click on Generate Test Cut, and you'll see this pop up right here. You're going to say Send Test, and it will cut just this little triangle in the square. Now, if that cuts nice and cleanly, then you know you're all set to cut your acetate piece. If it does not, you need to modify your settings and then try a test cut again. You can move this out of the way and you could generate another test cut. You could go ahead and move it or you could remove it, whatever you wanted to do. So just test cut until you get a nice clean setting of your acetate. Now, once your acetate is cut, we're going to delete this off of our mat or move it, and we're going to bring our mug over, our mug portion of our design. Now, there's a lot of pieces here to this design, and we're going to start with the red mug. Now, we're going to create our shaker well, or the depth of the area of this ornament or tag that holds the beads in there by building up multiple layers. So we need 6 layers of this portion of the design cut out of cardstock. I'm going to open the replicate panel here. And with this mug portion selected, I'm going to duplicate it once to the right. And I'm going to select both of these. And then I'm going to create a column of a total of 6, or 3 columns for a total of 6. Now I'm going to select all of these to make sure they're centered on the mat. And I'm going to say center to page. So now you would cut 6 of these mug pieces out of cardstock. So we're going to go to the send panel and we're going to select cardstock textured heavy. Again, you want to generate a test cut and double check. If it's not cutting cleanly, not giving you a nice clean cut, you want to adjust either your blade depth or your force, or possibly both, but only do one at a time. All right, so after you have cut out these 6 mugs, we need some parts of the design cut out of the red glitter cardstock. And we need, in addition to the 6 mug pieces, we're going to need 1 more mug cut out of red cardstock. We're also going to grab the back of our candy cane here and cut that out of glitter cardstock, and our holly berries here. We're going to, oops, I lost one there. We're going to bring these over and we're going to cut all of these out of 1 sheet of glitter cardstock. Now you can see this isn't going to take up a whole sheet, so you could use a partial sheet or whatever you had. But again, to the send panel, and this time we're going to select glitter cardstock. Now again, I want you to note that this has 2 passes, a blade of 6 and a force of 33. I would generate a test cut, but for me on my machine, I usually increase my blade to 1 for the glitter cardstock and do a test cut. If it doesn't cut cleanly, then I will increase my blade 1 more time until I get a nice clean cut. Okay, so once you have all of your glitter cardstock cut, I'm going to move this off to the side, and then we can do the white portions. Our candy cane is white, and our 2 pieces of the whipped cream embellishments are white. Bring them over here. They're blue here in the design. And then hiding back there is a background piece that is also white. And this time we're going to cut this using the same settings that we did for our red mug pieces. And that's going to say textured heavy. And if you made any adjustments before, you want to repeat those and make the same setting adjustments here. So those are the pieces that are going to cut out of white. So let's go back. And now we're going to cut out, here we have, let's come over here. And we're going to bring in our cocoa. We're going to cut this out of a brown cardstock with the same settings as the other cardstock. And then when that's done, we'll do our 2 little holly leaves here with the same cardstock setting. And then this is going to be cut out of adhesive vinyl. Now, if you are comfortable with it, you could layer several pieces of your design on your mat. So, for example, I could bring all of my white down here, and I could bring my green holly leaves over here. I could put a small square of green cardstock on this corner of the mat, a half of sheet of white here on the bottom, and a piece of brown for the cocoa here on the left. So I could do this all in one pass because these are the same materials. It's all the Encore cardstock. And so you would use the same cut settings for all of these pieces. So you could do this all in one pass. Now, when all your cardstock is cut out, we're going to go ahead and cut this text out of white adhesive or cal vinyl. Now, if you don't want to use this text, you can put whatever you want in there. Merry Christmas. You could put somebody's name, whatever you wanted to put it all together. And this time we're going to come over here and we're going to say vinyl Oracal 651 silhouette Oracal right here. And again, generate a test cut. Whoops. Want to move this so it's not on top of your test cut, and adjust the settings as need be to get a nice clean cut. All right. Now, when we have all of these pieces cut out, I'm going to take you to the other camera and I'm going to show you how we're going to put this all together. All right, so for our project here, we have all of the pieces cut out. We have the cocoa layer, the backing layer. This is our whipped cream topping, our mugs, and this is the front layer for our mug because I wanted it to be sparkly. And then we have this is our candy cane. We need the white portion. I missed that. And this is the part that goes on top of the red to give you your candy cane look. All right. And here are our holly leaves and berries. This is the acetate pieces that I cut. And this is your saying that's going to go in the middle here on your cocoa. And these are your little shaker bits. So the only other thing that you need for putting all this together is some glue. And I love this glue press from Pear Blossom Press because it has such a nice tiny little nozzle here, but any glue will do. It also has a great grip that's a lot easier on my hands. So we're going to start by putting our text here on our cocoa portion of our design. Now, one other thing that I forgot to mention is you'll need a little piece of transfer tape. And if it is very sticky and new, I would go ahead and kind of de-stick it a little bit. Maybe you want to put it on your jeans pockets or on your carpet, something like that. And we're going to take our transfer tape and simply place it over our text. And I'm going to burnish it down really well so that it adheres to the transfer tape and we can peel off the backing. All right, and so we're just going to lift that off and throw the backing away. Now, this is our cocoa portion and it's going to go behind our mug. So what I want to do is use one of the mug pieces that we've cut out as a guide. So we're going to line this up about where it would be on your mug. Now, this cocoa is a little bit smaller than your mug so that you don't have any edges peeking out. So we just want to line this up about like this, all right? And that way you can determine where, you can determine where you want your text to be. So I'm going to say about like this. And I'm going to put my text right in here about like this. Now you may want to go ahead and remove this so the transfer tape doesn't stick to it, and make sure that your text is straight. You want to make sure that it's straight on your cocoa portion here. So let's kind of fix that and straighten it up a little bit. Now before you adhere it all down, just lay this piece back on there and make sure that the mug doesn't cover up any of your text. And I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and burnish this down. Now, I don't want to do it too much outside of the vinyl because you don't want this transfer tape to rip your cocoa. So the cocoa portion. I'm just carefully going to peel this off. And now this is all done. You may want to take the felt side of your squeegee and just make sure it's like you want. All right, I'm going to set this aside for the moment because now we're going to build our mug. Now, because we have an odd shape here and not something that would work, normally I would use foam tape to layer all of this, but it's an odd shape and you've got the curved handle and such. So I learned this little trick from Michelle Price in one of her videos that you simply cut out multiples of the design that you want to use for your shaker and you glue these all together. And I believe I have 6 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe even 7. And this gives you the depth here that you would need for your shaker bits. If you can see, it's about the same depth as our foam tape would be. So now we're just going to go through the process of gluing all of these together. And this is going to take a little while, so I'm just going to do one, and then I'll come back and show you when it's all finished. All right. And then we're just going to line one up. And the card stack that I'm using, this is the Encore Smooth, the new Encore Smooth from 12 by 12 Cardstock Shop. I really like it, and that's what the cocoa is too. The white is, we have one sheet, the whipped cream is the smooth, the backing is the textured, and then we have the glitter cardstock. All of this is from 12 by 12 Cardstock Shop. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and layer all of these together, and then I'll be back. All right, so this is our final layer. I'm just going to put this right here. And now we have created, and get them all lined up, we have created our mug, which gives you, I hope you can see it in here, gives you the depth, which is about the thickness of a phone tape, maybe even a little bit more. And so that's going to be the well or the area for our shaker bits to go on. Now we're going to put this as our top layer to be shiny and sparkly. But before we do, I'm going to add the acetate. Now, acetate is not porous, so it doesn't stick as well to our cardstock as cardstock does to each other. So you kind of got to be careful and give it a little more time to dry. Also, you want to be careful that you don't get glue on the acetate. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but you want to try because, it gets cloudy and smudged. So you want to try to keep that glue off of your acetate. So I'm going to take my acetate, but make sure you don't have a lot of glue on your fingers. And I'm going to line this up now. See, I already got some glue on it. So I'm going to take my acetate and I'm going to line it up so that it covers all of our open areas like this. Okay? And I'm just going to press it down. I may scoot it down just a little bit so it's not poking out of the top. And we're going to let this dry. All right, so here we have our acetate on the back. And like I said, I'm going to let this dry for a minute while we put the rest of this together. But you can see that now this forms the well for our shaker bits here. I'm not going to glue this together quite yet, but it gives you the space in there that you can put your shaker bits and they can move around. All right, so let's go ahead and build the rest of our design. Now, we've got our holly leaves, our candy cane, and I'm going to go ahead and put the white part of the candy cane over the glitter part. Now, this is a time when it's super important to have just a very little bit of glue, just a dot, and I'm not even going to try to put any on those little stripe pieces because it's just going to be virtually impossible, and it'll adhere fine if you just have the glue around the edges. And I find if you just do little dots, it does better. Now, a little bit of glue might get on your glitter cardstock, but it will dry clear. You just don't want too much. Okay, so that looks pretty good. And I'm going to place it here on my candy cane. Make sure all the edges are lined up. You don't want to see the red from the back. Just like that. Now, like I said, there's a little bit of glue in there, but it'll dry clear. Just try to pat off some of it if you can. And again, we're going to let this sit for a minute. Now we're going to embellish our whipped cream on the top here. And we need our bottom part. If you're using textured cardstock, make sure that you have it going the right way, okay? Let's see, let's make sure I have it going the right way here, which this is the way I want it to go, just like that. All right, position that right where you want it. Okay, and then we're gonna put our mug and it's gonna go just like this. So it's looking really cute. We're getting there. So we've got still our holly to put on here, and then we're gonna put our backing. I want the backing to be the very last thing that we put on. So it'll kind of cover up some of this stuff. And then we're gonna put a little piece of ribbon and glue that in between the two layers there to hang it. So I'm going to go ahead and put my holly on, and I want to position this holly over here like this. So you just kind of have to decide where you want it. Just like this. You've got two pieces here, and again, just position them any way that you want. And then you can add your berries, again, anywhere that you want. And I've got those kind of overlapping one another. And now you want to put on, the last thing we want is our candy cane. Now, I want to make sure that the candy cane is not over these holes, because that's where our white backing is going to come in, and the white backing will be exposed through these holes. So just go ahead and make sure that your candy cane is positioned so that it does not cover up those holes. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right here. And I'm going to position my candy cane like this. And I think it looks adorable. All right. So now we're going to add our ribbon and our backing. But look how cute. This is all coming together. And this is going to be our top piece right here. And that's what we're going to look like. All right. So it's really cute. All right. Let me go ahead and we're going to put the ribbon on. Okay. So I said ribbon, but it's actually twine. You can use whatever you have or whatever you want. And I might want to cut that off a little bit more. And I'm going to put it right here, but you don't want it again to cover up your hole. So this is just for hanging. So I'm going to put some glue right here. Be a little generous with that. And I'm going to put my twine right here. And we're going to let that dry for just a minute, and we're going to add the backing. I'm going to let that dry for a minute, and while I do that, we're going to work with our shaker bits. Now, I need to go ahead and layer this on top so that we can capture our shaker bits inside here. So let's do that. And our acetate has glued down pretty well. Now it's really important that this layer is secured well because you don't want any of the shaker bits to escape out of here. So we're just going to place this here and line it all up. Now I've got a little bit of glue that's showing here on my acetate. So after a bit, I'm going to go ahead and let's just turn this over here. And I'm going to clean this up. Because you don't want your shaker bits to get caught in the glue. I find that my weeding hook does a good job of getting in those little spots and getting all that glue off. If there's glue on the front, you can clean that up later. All right? So here we have this. And I'm going to go ahead. Let's check our twine here. I think that's dry enough that I can add the backing. So let me go ahead and do that. So that can be drying while we do our shaker bits. So this just needs to cover the entire piece. Anywhere that white's going to go. And you could put the glue on the white if you wanted. But I wanted to do this to make sure I didn't cover up the holes. All right. So we're going to put this down and line it all up. Now it's getting a little bulky with the twine, but that's okay. You just want to make sure that's secure in there so it doesn't come out when you hang it. And you'll see here that the white is just a little bit smaller than the cocoa. So that's to make sure that you don't see the white on the outside. And I'm just going to put a little bit of extra glue right in here. Okay, looks super cute. All right, so now we're going to add our shaker bits. And these, there's all kinds of shaker bits available. 12 by 12 cardstock shop has some in their store called, I think, embellishments. But I did have these already, so I'm going to put some in there. And the amount depends on you, what you want. And I kind of just wanted to add some green and red that I had. When you have these confetti pieces like this, I really like them, but they do tend to sometimes stick to the acetate, all right, or your fingers. All right, so I'm just gonna make sure these are all flat like this. Okay, just like that. And now we're gonna add our cocoa portion. Now, I think it's going to be a a little bit easier. Let me go ahead and hold this so you can see. See how that looks like that? I think it looks really cute. But we're going to go ahead and put the glue on the red part on the mug, because I think you might have a tendency to miss some of it if you just put it on the cocoa. All right, so now I'm just going to carefully put my glue around here. You don't want to get this in your shaker bits. You don't want to get it on your acetate. So, got to try and be careful. All right, so now we're going to lay this. I've got some little shaker bits on here. Okay. Now your cocoa is a little bit smaller than your mug. Whoops, we did not need glue there on that, but I'm just going to leave it because it'll dry clear. Now I'm going to turn this over so I can make sure that everything is lined up. And it is. You want your cocoa to be above your cup like this. And you don't want those edges to show, so you want to make sure it's all lined up like that. And there you go. You are finished. And like I said, if you've got a little bit of glue here, you can just clean that up. And we're going to let this dry. I didn't need it on the handle. And you're all done. Your shaker bits are secure in there. Just make sure that you have enough glue all the way around and that they're not disappearing. Okay? So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you will make some of these and enjoy hanging them on your tree or gift packages. And as promised at the beginning of this video, I have a little surprise for you. I have this free Christmas PNG bundle that you can download by clicking on the link below this video, along with the links for the SVG file and the supply list. These designs are perfect for print and cut, for stickers, gift tags, cards, anything that you want to use them for. And while you're on the site, I hope you take a look around and see what we have to offer, and be sure to sign up for the wait list for our Cut Above Crafting Summit that will be held in April. By signing up for the wait list, you will be the first to receive all the details for this fun and exciting summit. So again, thank you so much for coming to class, and Merry Christmas.